A man was ready to quit, not because he was lazy, not because he was weak, because he was tired. Tired of trying, tired of improving, tired of putting in effort and seeing almost nothing in return. The feeling had been growing for months, maybe years. Every morning he woke up with intention. Every evening he went to bed with disappointment. Not dramatic disappointment, the quiet kind, the kind that whispers, "You're still in the same place." One evening he sat alone in his apartment. Rain tapped softly against the window. His laptop was open, his notebook was open, his goals were open. Everything was open, except his future. At least that's how it felt. He looked at the page, the same goals. Build something meaningful, get in shape, make more money, become someone he could respect. Then he laughed, not because it was funny, because those goals had been there for years. Different notebook, same goals, different month, same goals, different year, same goals. Then the thought arrived, maybe this just isn't going to happen for me. The room became quiet because this wasn't frustration anymore. It was doubt, and doubt is heavier. Frustration says, keep going. Doubt says, why bother? The rain continued tapping against the window. Then he remembered something his grandfather once told him. A story about a bamboo farmer. At the time he had ignored it. Now it returned. The farmer planted a bamboo seed. Then he watered it every day. Nothing happened. A month passed. Nothing. 3 months. Nothing. 6 months. Nothing. 1 year. Still nothing. People began laughing at him. Every morning they saw him carrying water. Every morning they saw him kneeling beside empty ground. Every morning they saw him caring for something that did not appear to exist. The farmer kept watering. Year 2, nothing. Year 3, nothing. Year 4, nothing. By now even his friends thought he was wasting his time. The farmer kept watering. Then in the 5th year, something happened. A tiny green shoot appeared. Small, almost invisible. People laughed. 5 years for that? The farmer smiled. Then 6 weeks later, the bamboo grew 90 feet. 90 feet. In 6 weeks. People were amazed. They called it a miracle. The farmer called it preparation. Because the bamboo had not spent 5 years doing nothing. It had spent 5 years building roots. Roots nobody could see. Roots that could support 90 feet of growth. Without those roots, the bamboo would have collapsed under its own height. The man sat quietly. The story lingered. Then a question appeared. What if I'm a bamboo tree? The thought felt strange. Then it felt comforting, because suddenly, his life looked different. Maybe he wasn't failing. Maybe he was building roots. Then he started thinking about everything he had done. The books he had read, the habits he had built, the mistakes he had survived, the lessons he had learned, the discipline he had developed. None of it was visible. Nobody could see it, just like the roots. Then another realization arrived. The world celebrates visible growth, the promotion, the muscles, the money, the business, the followers. But visible growth is only possible because invisible growth happened first. Then he smiled, because suddenly his life made sense. He had been measuring the wrong thing. He had been measuring outcomes instead of foundations. Then another thought arrived. What if the most important work of your life happens before anybody notices? The room became quiet, because somehow that felt true. Then he remembered something. Every person he admired had a period nobody talks about. The years before success, the years before recognition, the years when it looked like nothing was happening. People see the bamboo, nobody sees the roots. Then he stood up, walked toward the mirror, looked at himself, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't see someone behind schedule. He saw someone preparing. Then he smiled, because suddenly the pressure disappeared. Not all of it, but enough. Enough to breathe, enough to continue, enough to trust the process again. Months passed. His life still wasn't dramatic. There were no overnight transformations, no viral moments, no miraculous breakthroughs, just consistent effort, watering the ground, again and again and again. Then one day something happened. A small opportunity appeared, then another, then another. The strange thing was that people called it luck. They always do. They saw the bamboo. They didn't see the roots. They saw the breakthrough. They didn't see the preparation. They saw the result. They didn't see the years. Then he laughed, because he finally understood something. Life rarely changes suddenly. It prepares quietly, then changes suddenly. And perhaps this story leaves you with one question. What if nothing is wrong? What if the reason you haven't seen results yet is not because you're failing? What if you're building roots? What if the work you're doing today is creating something that cannot be seen yet? Because we live in a world obsessed with visible progress, but the most important progress is often invisible. Confidence, discipline, patience, character, trust, resilience. Nobody sees those things growing until one day everybody does. So if you're feeling discouraged tonight, if it feels like you're trying and nothing is changing, remember the bamboo tree, remember the roots, and remember this. Just because nothing is visible doesn't mean nothing is happening. Keep watering, keep showing up, keep building, because someday people will look at your life and call it an overnight success, and you'll smile, because you'll remember the years underground, the years nobody saw, the years that made everything possible. The roots, keep growing them. Your season is coming.